Hello, dear students. I hope every JEE sprint is fully prepared for the upcoming JEE attempts. I think this is a very crucial time for these students. So they must be prepared for the previous papers which have occurred in the previous examinations. So today's students, I'm going to give you the detailed solution of all questions of JEE Mains 2021, 16th March first shift paper. So let me kill you guys first. These are the memory based questions that I have compiled from all the sources available throughout the internet. So I hope every question is covered here, and if some question is not covered here, then you can always tell me in the comment box, or if some question is there but it was not in the JEE paper, then also you can tell me in the comment box. So without wasting your precious time, so let's start the solutions. Let's start understanding the solutions. So first question says sum of values of x and y satisfying the equation 3 raised to power x minus 4 raised to power y equal to 77 and this. So basically we are having two equations in x and y. We need to find x and y. So how can we find x and y? So let's suppose 3 raised to power x upon 2 is a, 2 raised to power y is b. So basically from the first equation I can get 3 raised to power x, it is given now, so a square, and 4 raised to power y means b square. So a square minus b square is 77, and from the second equation a minus b is 7. So this is very simple equations. From first equation we can write it a plus b, a minus b equal to 77. So put a minus b 7, so I will be getting a plus b equal to 11. So solving these 2 and 3 equation, I can get a and b. The value of a is 9, b is 2. So sum of values of x and y will be equals to 9 plus 2. Sorry, a is 9, b is 2. What was a? A was 3 raised to power x upon 2. So 3 raised to power x upon 2 is 9. 2 raised to power y is 2. So solving these, I'll be getting x is equals to 4, y equals to 1. So x plus y is 5. So answer for this question is 5. Let's come to the second problem. The middle term in the expansion of x square plus 1 upon x square plus 2 raised to power n is. These are the options given. So first of all, the bracket x square plus 1 upon x square plus 2 raised to power whole n. So inside the bracket it is actually written as x plus 1 upon x whole square. So I can write it like x plus 1 upon x whole square raised to power n. So basically x plus 1 upon x raised to power 2n. Now I can write the expansion of this, but we don't want the expansion, we want the middle term in the expansion of this. So in the expansion of this, the number of terms will be 2n plus 1. 2n plus 1 is always an odd number for every value of n, integer value of n. So the number of terms are 2n plus 1, that is odd. So the middle term can be obtained by 2n plus 2 upon 2, that is n plus 1th term will be the middle term. So the middle term will be tn plus 1. So tn plus 1 will be 2n cn x raised to power n 1 upon x raised to power 2n minus n, that is also n. So x raised to power n, x raised to power n cancelled, so 2n cn. 2n cn is basically factorial 2n upon factorial n into factorial n. So this is coming out to be factorial 2n upon factorial n whole square. So the correct option for this question is option D. I hope this should be clear to everyone. Let's come to problem number 3. This problem was little bit difficult. Let's see what is this. Fx is given to us. Then the complete set of values of a for which critical points of fx exist. So critical points of fx means where the derivative of fx is 0 or not defined. So let's see what is fx basically. See the second term, that is 2a minus 7 cot x upon 2 into sin square x upon 2 can be written as cos x upon 2 sin x upon 2. So sin x upon 2 sin x upon 2 cancel. So basically fx is becoming as 4a minus 3x plus ln 5 plus a minus 7 into sin x. 2 sin x by 2 cos x by 2 in first row, it is sin x. So now differentiate this both side. F dash x can be obtained 4x minus 3, derivative of x is 1, derivative of ln x 5 is 0. So basically 4a minus 3 into 1. In second term I will be getting a minus 7 into cos x. So for the critical points, f dash x should be either not defined or 0. So it is every time everywhere defined, because cos x is defined for every x. So for the critical point I will put simply this equal to 0. So 4a minus 3 plus a minus 7 cos x equal to 0. So from here cos x will be minus of 4a minus 3 upon a minus 7. Now we know that cos x always belongs from minus 1 to 1. So basically minus of 4a minus 3, that will become minus 4a plus 3 upon a minus 7, belongs from minus 1 to 1. So we are having two inequalities basically. See, this is basic mathematics actually. So minus 4a plus 3 upon a minus 7 greater than or equal to minus 1. Minus 4a plus 3 upon a minus 7 is less than or equal to 1. Solving these two inequalities, I think it's very easy for everyone. So from the first inequality I will be getting a belongs from minus 4 by 3 to 7. And from the second inequality I will be getting a belongs to minus infinite to 2 union 7 to infinity. At 7 it would be open interval, because 7 is a minus 7 is in denominator, so a cannot be 7. Taking the common of these two intervals, I will be getting a belongs from minus 4 by 3 comma 2. So I think which option was correct? Option C is the correct, minus 4 by 3 comma 2. I hope this should be clear to everyone. Now let's move on to problem number 4. Set A is given as 4, 8, 16, 32, 26, 21, 11 and 15. If 4 numbers taken from the set A, they form first 4 terms of AP. Okay, means I have to take 4 numbers from this set A. They will form the first 4 terms of AP. Okay, again 4 numbers taken from these, they form first 4 terms of GP. Okay, what 4 numbers we have to take? They haven't told me. Okay, we'll see what 4 numbers I can take so that it will form GP. If last term of these series is a 4-digit number, okay, these AP and GP will be 2 series. Last term of these series is a 4-digit number, it is given. Okay, then find the number of common terms in these 2 series. How can we find the common terms in these 2 series? So let me write the series first of all, then only we can find the common terms in these 2 series now. So the set A is given as, I have written the elements of say in ascending order. So how to form the AP? So students, you will have to think which 4 numbers should I take from 4, 8, 11, 15, 16, 21, 26 and 32, so that they will form AP. So hopefully there will be one combination only. Let me think, what can I take? If I take 4, 8, difference of 4 and 8 is 4, then I should take 4, 8, then 12 should come, but 12 is not there. Okay, so if I take 8, 11, 8 plus 3, 11, 11 plus 3, 14, not there. If I take 8, 15, 8 plus 50, 8 and 15, 8 plus 7, 15, 15 plus 7, 15 plus 7, 22, not there. So what can be the 4 terms which will form AP? Let me take 4, 11 plus 5, 16, 16 plus 5, 21, 21 plus 5, 26. Yes, 11 plus 5, 16, 16 plus 5, 21, 21 plus 5, 26. So 11, 16, 21, 26 are the 4 terms which will form AP. So yes, correctly we have thought 11, 16, 21 and 26 are forming AP. Now let me think what terms will form GP. So I think this is very easy. 4 into 2, 8, into 2, 16, into 2, 32. So 4, 8, 16, 32 are the GP terms. So now what is said, the common terms and the AP which is written in this 11, 16, 21, 26, it will go on till the last term is a 4-digit number. Similarly GP will go on till the last term is 4-digit number. So we have to form the common terms and we have to find the number of common terms in the two series. So first common term is 16 that we can see, and if you consider on the GP terms now, these are the powers of 2 square, 2 raised power 3, 2 raised power 4, 2 raised power 5 and so on. So it is very clear that 2 raised power any number cannot end with 1. So the common terms cannot be 11, 21, 31, can't be. The common terms can be either 16 or 26 or 36 or 46 and so on. I hope you can understand. The terms in the AP are 11, 26, 21, 26, 31, 36, 41, 46, 51, 56 and so on. So the first common term is 16, which is having unit digit 6. So next common term will also have the unit digit 6. Now think what power of 2 is ending with 6. So I think 2 raised power something is 256, then 4096, which is a 4-digit number. So here we can find that only 3 numbers are there which are common. So the answer for this question will be number of common terms in the two series will be 3 common terms. So you can watch the solution. Number of common terms is 3. I hope this should be clear. Let's move on to next question, number 5. Here fx is given, gx is given, number of points of non-differentiability of fog x, f of gx. So first of all we will try to write f of gx. So f of gx means in fx, in place of x you replace it gx. So in place of fx, in place of x, I'll be writing gx everywhere. So you can relate fx and f of gx. F of gx is becoming as gx plus 2 if gx is less than or equal to 0, gx square if gx is greater than 0. Okay, now we are having two definitions for gx. One is when x greater than or equal to 1. Second is x less than 1. So in place of gx I'll be writing 3x minus 2 if x is greater than or equal to 1. So basically I'll be getting 4 terms like this. So first I will write in place of gx 3x minus 2 plus 2, 3x minus 2 less than or equal to 0. I hope you people know how to write f of gx. So I cannot explain much here because I don't have any pointer here. So I hope this should be clear. So gx 3x minus 2, x is greater than or equal to 1. So in place of gx I have put 3x minus 2 less than or equal to 0 because gx is less than or equal to 0 if x is greater than 1. So you will find f of gx. If you are not comfortable with f of gx, then you can go to your books and try some practice questions how to find f of gx if fx and gx both are having multiple definitions. So you will be hopefully understanding this. So from here we are getting 3x when x is 5 because from first interval x is coming out to be 5. So basically this is our f of gx. So here the point of non-differentiability can be either x equal to 0 or x equal to 1. So let's check at x equal to 0. F of gx is discontinuous. Why? At x equal to 0, left hand limit is coming out to be 2. And x equal to 0, right hand limit will coming out to be 0. So left hand limit and right hand limit are not equal. So it is discontinuous, means non-differentiable. Then at x equal to 1, we'll check left hand derivative and right hand derivative. It is continuous at x equal to 1. So we will go to left hand derivative and right hand derivative. Left hand derivative is LHD is limit x tends to 1 minus fx minus f1 upon x minus 1. Limit extends to 1 minus fx for 1 minus is x cube. So x cube minus 1 upon x minus 1. Factors of x cube minus 1 will be x minus 1 into x is for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 like this. So put x equal to 1 there. So 1 plus 1 plus 1, 6 you will be getting. Similarly, right hand derivative. For right hand derivative, x tends to 1 plus. For 1 plus, we can use 3x minus 2 whole square. So 3x minus 2 whole square minus 1. 3x minus 2 plus 1, 3x minus 2 minus 1. A plus b, a minus b. So right hand derivative is coming out to be again 6. That means at x equal to 1, the function is differentiable. So the points where the function is non-differentiable is only one point, x equal to 0. So number of points of non-differentiability is 1. That was asked to us. Number of points of non-differentiability of fx is B option 1. So this was question number 5. Let's come to question number 6. ln mod z plus 11 upon mod z minus 1 whole square less than or equal to 2. Base is 1 upon root 2. And maximum value of mod z is r. So basically this is your basic mathematics question, logarithmic question. So you simply replace mod z as x, then you will be finding this question very easy. So it is becoming log of x plus 11 upon x minus 1 whole square to the base 1 upon root 2 less than or equal to 2. If the base is 1 upon root 2 is the less than 1, no? So this logarithmic inequality can be converted as x plus 11 upon x minus 1 whole square greater than or equal to 1 by root 2 square. Students, wherever you are not able to understand, you just go to your notebooks, your notes or your books. You refer to that topic. Suppose this is the logarithmic question, you refer to that topic and try to understand the concept behind that. Then only you will be understanding these questions. Just by watching the solutions, it won't be beneficial for you. If you are not understanding any concept, you just go to your notes or books, you revise them. Then you come to here. Fine. So x plus 11 upon x minus 1 whole square is greater than or equal to 1 by root 2 square. So 1 by root 2 square is 1 by 2 basically. So you can take 2 to the left hand side. So numerator will become 2x plus 22 upon x minus 1 whole square greater than or equal to 1. 1 can taken in left hand side, minus 1 it would become, and you take the LCM x minus 1 whole square. Numerator will become 2x plus 22 minus x minus 1 whole square. Basically it is x square plus 1 minus 2x greater than or equal to 0. So basically it is coming out to be x square minus 4x minus 21 upon x minus 1 whole square less than or equal to 0. I hope this should be clear. So x square minus 4x minus 21 upon x minus 1 whole square. X minus 1 whole square can be taken out with the 0. X is not equal to 1. Let us assume. So from here x is coming out to be minus 3 to 7. 1 will not be included here. Students, I think this is wrongly written. This should not be the part of here. You can refer to this. Fine. So from here we are getting what? X is minus 3 to 7. So x is equal to maximum value of x will be 7. So x was what? Mod z. So maximum value of mod z will be 7. So answer for this question will be 7. This was question number 6. Let's say to question number 7. दोस्तों, अगर आपने चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है, यू कैन सब्सक्राइब माई चैनल एंड प्रेस द बेल बटन, or you can share this videos to your friends also, so that they can also enjoy the session. Now next question is, if yx is equals to 0 to x 2t square minus 15t plus 10 dt normal to this curve. So this is basically a curve given, at P a comma b is parallel to the line 3y plus x equal to 5, then find a mod of a plus 6b. Okay, so first of all let me write y dash. So using Leibniz rule I can find y dash. How? Leibniz rule says that you put the upper limit onto the function inside the integral sign. This is 2t square minus 15t plus 10. So it would be 2x square minus 15x plus 10 into derivative of upper limit, that is 1, minus of, it would be 0. So basically y dash is coming out to me. If you don't know the Leibniz rule, you first understand the Leibniz rule, because in this paper many questions are based on the Leibniz rule. Around 3 or 4 questions were based on the Leibniz rule, so be prepared for that. So y dash will be 2x square minus 15x plus 10. Now simply I will be finding y dash at a comma b, that would be the slope of tangent at point a comma b, to a square minus 15a plus 10. So slope of tangent is coming, but they want normal to this curve at point a comma b, which is parallel to 3y plus x equal to 5. Okay, so slope of normal will be minus 1 upon 2a square minus 15a plus 10, which is equal to the slope of the line. Line given is 3y plus x equal to 5, that means x plus 3y minus 5 equal to 0. The slope of this line is minus 1 upon 3. So minus 1 cancel. So 2a square minus 15a plus 10 equal to 3. So 2a square minus 15a plus 7 is equal to 0. So from here a will be 1 by 2 and 7. But in question it was given that a is greater than 1. So a will be 7. Now what we want actually? We want a plus 6b. Okay, so to find a plus 6b, a is 7. Now we want b. To find b, in the equation of curve which has given this, yx is equals to 0 to x 2t square minus 15t plus 10 dt. In this equation you put x in place of x as a, means 7. So basically it would become b is equal to 0 to 7 2t square minus 15t plus 10. Integrate this, put the limits, and you will get b is equal to, you will be getting 6b is equal to minus 413. So basically a plus 6b will be 7 minus 413 ka mod. So it is minus of 406, so mod of that is plus 406. So the answer for this question will be 406. Let's come to question number 8. If curve y equals to fx satisfy the differential equation, this area bounded by the y equals to fx and x-axis is 4 root 8 upon 3, then find f1. This question was little bit difficult, also tricky question. If you are doing this question for the first time, it would be difficult for you to solve this question. Okay, let's see the solution for this. So first of all, dy by dx equals to 2x plus 1 is a differential equation. From there you can find the y, solving this equation. So y is coming out to be x square plus 2x plus c. C is an arbitrary constant, and this is a parabola. Discriminant of this is 4 minus 4c. So parabola vertex will be minus 1 comma c minus 1. So basically I can write this parabola as y equals to x plus 1 whole square plus c minus 1. Now you can identify this, if it is y equals to x plus 1 whole square plus c minus 1. So this parabola will be something like this. See, in the first graph, towards leftmost graph, I have drawn vertex minus, I have put minus 1 comma c minus 1 in the second quadrant. Then the graph will be like this, because upward opening parabola, coefficient of x square is positive. So here the graph is not bounded with x-axis. So the graph, this cannot be there. The graph will be second will be the right graph. This will be the graph of y equals to x plus 1 whole square plus c minus 1. Okay, so basically the area of this shaded region is 4 root 8 upon 3 given. But students, if you are going to find the area now. Here you will need the roots of this, means the points where this graph will cut x-axis, that are difficult to find. So what we will do, we will shift this graph to right side by 1 unit. That means the equation of the graph will become this. So y equals to x square plus c minus 1. Fine. So if it is y x square plus c, then also the area, this area will not change, 4 root 8 upon 3. Now you can simply find these two coordinates. How? Simply put y equals to 0, x will be root of 1 minus c, plus minus root of 1 minus c, plus will be here, minus will be here. So area will be what? Area will be 4 root 8 upon 3 is equals to twice of integral of 0 to root of 1 minus c x square plus c minus 1 dx. I'll put the minus sign because this area is below x-axis, so it would be minus. So I can put minus either on RHS or LHS. Students, I can simply solve this. So I'll be getting c is equals to minus 1. The procedure of solving is very easy. You can simply solve this with the correct calculations. So if c is minus 1, so the y is basically x square plus 2x minus 1. So f of 1 will be 2. That would be our answer. So I hope this should be clear to everyone. Okay, so let's move on to problem number 9. fx plus f of x plus 1 is equal to 2. I1 is 0 to 8 fx dx. I2 is minus 1 to 3 fx dx. I1 plus 2 I2 is to be found. Okay, fx plus 1 is equal to 2. So I can put x plus 1 in place of x. So basically I'll be getting fx plus 1 is equals to plus fx plus 2 is equal to 2. Now subtract these two equations, equation 1 and equation 2. If I subtract these two equations, I will be getting fx minus fx plus 2 is equal to 0. So fx plus 2 is coming out to be fx. This shows me that the function is having a period of 2. So if it is having a period of 2, so now let's come to the integral I1. I1 was 0 to 8 fx dx. Now fx is having period of 2. It is 0 to 8. So I can write it 4 times of 0 to 2 fx dx. The I2 integral was minus 1 to 3 fx dx. Let me just put in place of x as t minus 1. So from x dt will be dx will be equals to dt. So the integral will change, limits will become 0 to 4, because when x is minus 1 then t will be 0, when x is 3 then t will be 4. So it is becoming f of t minus 1 dt. Now you know that, look at here, f of x plus 2 is equals to fx. If I put in place of x, x minus 1 I put. So here I will be getting f of x minus 1, here f of x plus 1. So f of x plus 1, f of x minus 1 will be equal. If it is so I can write this f of x plus 1 as 0 to 4 f of x plus 1, same it is written. So this can be written as, sorry, f of t minus 1 I was there. So f of t minus 1 can be written as f of t plus 1 dt. From the first property of integral, definite integral, we can write f of t plus 1 as f of t minus 1 in place of x also, in terms of x also. T can be written in terms of x. So f of x plus 1 dx. I hope you know this property. The variable can be any, either t or x. The integral value will not change, no? So basically it is 0 to 4 f of x plus 1 dx. F of x plus 1 was given to you in the very first equation, f of x plus 1 was 2 minus fx. So from here you will write 2 minus fx. So now integrate this. 0 to 4 2 dx minus 0 to 4 fx dx. Again 0 to 4 fx dx is twice of 0 to 2 fx dx. 0 to 2 fx dx was I1 in terms of 0 to fx is I1 by 4 basically. So I can write I1 by 2, 8 minus I1 by 2. So if you take the LCM and all, you will be getting I1 plus 2I2 is 9. I hope this should be clear. Let's come to problem number 10. This was very easy question, and if you know the property of the parabola, then you can mark this question within 10 seconds or 15 seconds. If three distinct normals are drawn to the parabola y square equal to 2x passes through a comma 0, then a must be greater than. So students, this is a property of the parabola that if three distinct normals are drawn to a parabola passing through a point P, then the x coordinate of P will always be greater than 2a. So if the parabola equation is y square equal to 2ax, 4ax it is now. So here it is given as y square equal to 2x. So if you compare it by, write it as 4ax, so it is 4 into 1 by 2 into x. So a is 1 by 2 here. The 2a is 1 here. That means x coordinate of P will be greater than 1. And in question, what is the x coordinate of P? A comma 0. So a is the x coordinate of P. So x coordinate of P, that is a, should be greater than 1. So the answer for this question will be 1. So I hope this should be clear to everyone. Students, in this video I am explaining you the solutions of only 10 questions. In my next coming video, I will be explaining the solutions of questions from 11 to 20. And in third video, I will be explaining the questions from 21 to 30. So thanks for watching this video. Thank you all of you guys.